She faced insults, endured mockery, and was unceremoniously pushed into the sea like refuse, all for the crime of wearing flip-flops and a simple dress. No hand was offered to assist her. No staff member reached out for help. Not a single guest, adorned in their finest designer suits and luxurious silk gowns, met her gaze as she struggled for breath, drenched and trembling. No one realized that the woman they had just belittled was the sole individual on that dock who truly belonged there. No one realized she was more than just a visitor. She was the spouse of the individual who possessed the whole vessel. The Monaco Marina unfolded like an opulent retreat, a radiant arc of azure water-embracing vessels that sparkled beneath the golden glow of the setting sun. Sleek hulls bobbed gently, their decks adorned with polished teak and glass railings, their names etched in gold, each one a floating testament to opulence beyond imagination. The ether stood as a grand spectacle, a 200-foot marvel of pristine steel and sophistication, its 3 levels ascending like an opulent wedding cake designed for the elite. Crystal chandeliers glimmered through its windows, a helipad adorned its top deck, and its bow sliced through the water with a subtle confidence that hinted at exclusivity. The scent of salt and champagne filled the air, while the distant hum of engines blended with the clinking of glasses and the soft murmur of voices from the privileged few already on board. Emma Grayson made her way onto the wooden dock, the sound of her flip-flops gently echoing against the planks. Her simple cotton dress, a well-worn faded blue, danced lightly in the warm breeze. A weathered backpack dangled from one shoulder, its straps tattered, its canvas marked by countless adventures. Within, she had carefully placed a cozy sweater, a water bottle, and 2 highly sought-after tickets for the ether, a special gift for Adrian, her husband, to celebrate their 5th anniversary. Her auburn hair was gathered into a relaxed ponytail, with strands slipping free to accentuate her face, while her hazel eyes sparkled with a subtle thrill. At 32, she possessed a beauty that was understated yet captivating, exuding grace without the need for loud declarations. Her intellect was keen, and her heart had the power to inspire great change. Yet her humility veiled everything, rendering her merely a traveler meandering too near the domain of the affluent. She had devoted weeks to crafting this vision. Adrian found himself in Berlin, engulfed in storm tech meetings, his AI empire consuming his every moment. She yearned to draw him out, to astonish him with something monumental. 5 years prior, they exchanged vows in a courthouse, adorned with $20 rings, 2 impoverished visionaries placing their faith in one another. Those tickets, priced at $500,000 each, were her way of showcasing just how far we've come. She had reached out to him that morning, her voice playful through the static, inviting him to join her in Monaco that evening. He let out a soft laugh. "What are you crafting, Em?" She had a smile that would captivate you, just wait and see. She thought it would be straightforward, present the tickets, step onto the yacht, and wait for him beneath the stars. She was taken aback by how the crew transformed it into a spectacle for all to see. It began at the gangway, a polished ramp adorned with velvet ropes ascending to the lower deck of the ether. A security guard named Tom Harris stood in her way, his broad shoulders and buzzcut giving him an imposing presence. The badge on his black polo caught the light as his eyes scrutinized her, as if she had brought sand into his sacred space. "We don't permit flyer girls on this yacht," he scoffed, his voice booming enough to catch the attention of a deckhand. Jake, a slender boy gripping a mop, chuckled from the railing. Emma shifted her backpack, composed as always. "I don't consider myself a flyer girl. I seek the essence that transcends the ordinary. Here is my ticket." She extracted the gold-embossed paper from her bag, its holographic seal glimmering in the light, and extended it forward. Tom merely smirked, not even bothering to look. "Good effort. That isn't real." Take a moment to pause. Before she had a chance to react, Clara Weston made her entrance. The guest manager, clad in an all-white blazer and bold red lipstick, had her blonde hair meticulously pinned back, her heels striking the floor with the authority of a judge's gavel. She assessed Emma, a sneer forming on her lips. She scoffed, gesturing at the dress and the flip-flops. "Look at yourself. It seems unlikely that someone of your means would be able to afford ether. Are you attempting to feign your way into captivating someone affluent?" Jake burst into laughter. "She possesses an undeniable drive." On the deck, guests adorned in tailored tuxedos and elegant silk gowns sipped martinis, leaning in with rapt attention, their gazes fixed intently. Emma stood firm, her voice unwavering. "I assure you, there is no pretense here. This ticket is authentic. Please take a look at it." Clara seized it, cast a brief look, then ripped it apart, allowing the fragments to drift down to the dock. "Oh dear," she remarked with a playful grin. "It must have slipped away." Tom applauded. "Well done." A woman adorned in pearls, Lila Carter, let out a soft chuckle from the rail. She has a distorted perception of reality. Emma felt a constriction in her chest, yet she refrained from reacting sharply, instead reaching into her bag for the second ticket. I possess another one. Please scan it. Clara's smirk morphed into a scowl. You're making a fool of yourself, she spat, snatching it away and flinging it into the breeze, the paper twirling toward the water like a faltering bird. The audience erupted with excitement, devices raised, crimson lights flashing. She's utterly ridiculous. Remove her already. A man in a tuxedo, miles away with slicked-back hair and a gold watch gleaming, shouted, She's wasting our time. The embarrassment intensified rapidly. Tom advanced, his imposing figure casting a shadow, and forcefully pushed her shoulder, causing her flip-flops to slip on the dock. Hurry up, he commanded, his voice sharp as Clara chuckled. She's completely disrupting the atmosphere. Miles leaned in, toss her overboard, just do it. Jake seized his mop, plunged it into a bucket of murky water, and hurled the dripping concoction at her, the icy splash drenching her dress, cascading down her legs, and gathering at her feet. Get yourself together, you mess, he mocked as Lila captured the moment, knowing it would blow up online. Disappointing. Clara persisted relentlessly. With a swift motion, she pulled a marker from her blazer pocket and boldly wrote, Fake, across Emma's damp dress, the dark ink seeping into the fabric as her laughter echoed around them. It is now official. Tom let out a hoot, urging her to tag well, while Lila wore a smirk, declaring her a master of deception. The crowd erupted in cheers, phones capturing the blurred word, while Emma remained poised, ink running with water, her backpack heavy, yet she stood unwavering, allowing the mark to linger, her serenity a stronghold against their hostility. Emma wiped her face, water stinging her eyes, her ponytail dripping, yet she remained unyielding, standing there with poise, her silence a barrier against their malice. The guests dove in with the ferocity of sharks. Lila hurled a half-filled champagne flute towards Emma, the glass exploding at her feet, bubbles fizzing on the wooden floor. Here's your welcome drink, she cackled, while Miles chuckled, she's a walking disaster. Clara applauded, splendid, let's give her a proper farewell. Tom seized her backpack, tore it open, and emptied its contents with the sweater, wallet, and a photo of her and Adrian cascading onto the drenched dock. Show me your millions, he mocked, sending the photo splashing into a puddle with a swift kick. Emma knelt to retrieve it, her hands unwavering despite the sharp pain, but Jake seized it, ripping it in two. No mementos for imposters, he declared, flinging the fragments over the edge, the shredded visages of her and Adrian disappearing into the depths. Miles plunged into the chaos, snatching a bottle of red wine from a guest's grasp and dousing Emma's head with it, the rich liquid soaking her dress in a deep crimson hue as he smirked with disdain. Put on your best outfit, darling, Tom exclaimed with enthusiasm. She has become a classic as Sophie let out a joyful laugh. Crimson complements her perfectly. The wine cascaded down her neck, mingling with the foam and water while Emma blinked through the sting, her ponytail a drenched tangle. Yet she remained unyielding, her dignity a fortress they could not breach. A greater number of crew members joined in. A bartender named Sophie, small in stature with her hair neatly tied in a bun, approached with a tray of flutes, a smirk playing on her lips. You're blocking the dock, she said, splashing a glass of ice water in Emma's face, the cubes cascading down her dress. Chill out and get lost, she chuckled as Tom howled. She's completely drained now. Sophie pushed the boundaries even more. With a swift motion, she grabbed a tray of oysters from a nearby server and poured them over Emma's head, the slick shells cascading down her dress as Sophie let out a piercing shriek, Take that, you imposter. Jake erupted in laughter. She's a unique delight, as Miles applauded, just right, dispose of the waste. The foul odor assaulted her senses, the crowd's cacophony echoing as Emma recoiled from the icy sludge, her grip firm on her bag. Yet she remained composed, merely brushing an oyster off her shoulder, her quiet demeanor a barrier they couldn't breach. A deckhand named Pete, tall and sunburned in a crew polo, seized a coil of rope and deftly looped it around the scattered contents of her backpack, pulling them toward the edge. He shouted, sending her sweater flying into the water with a swift kick, declaring that trash was going overboard. Pete took it to the next level. He seized a fire extinguisher from the dock wall and unleashed a torrent of white foam onto Emma, drenching her dress and face as he shouted, Extinguish the garbage fire. Clara chuckled softly. She is transformed into a cloud, while the Pearl Woman, Lila, declared with conviction, This is art. Foam clung to her hair, her eyes ablaze, and Emma staggered back, her flip-flops slipping beneath her, yet she held back tears, steadying herself with a quiet strength that flickered like an unquenchable flame. Emma extended her hand toward her wallet, only for Sophie to bring her foot down hard, sending it splashing into a puddle. There's no money here, darling. The audience erupted, devices capturing every moment, shouts echoing through the air. She's insignificant, just let her go. Clara masterfully directed the grand conclusion. She is finished, she remarked, giving a nod toward Tom. He seized her arm, his grip tightening painfully, and pulled her toward the end of the dock, her flip-flops slipping away, one falling into the sea. You're out, he growled, while Pete chuckled in response. Farewell, flyer girl. Miles flicked a coin in her direction. Here's your ride home. Lila brought it to a close. With a swift motion, she grabbed a flare gun from the safety kit on the dock and discharged it just inches from Emma's feet. The vivid orange spark fizzled as it plunged into the water, her voice rising in a frantic scream, urging her to illuminate the path and depart. Clara celebrated, fireworks for the deception, while Pete chuckled. She has become a beacon now. The heat scorched Emma's legs, the hem of her dress curling in smoke, and she retreated, her flip-flop disintegrating beneath her. Yet she remained silent, confronting them with steely hazel eyes, her poise a weapon they could not dull. Lila applauded, a flawless conclusion to the scene. With a forceful push, Tom sent Emma tumbling off the dock, plunging into the icy, murky depths, her dress engulfed by the salty water, her backpack descending alongside her. She struck the water with a splash, inhaling sharply, her limbs thrashing for an instant before she regained her composure. The audience burst into applause, joy filling the air, cameras capturing every moment. Submerge. No one. With a smirk, Clara declared, good riddance, before turning away, leaving the gutter behind. The music rose, violins intertwining with a throbbing DJ beat, while glasses chimed as if she had never existed. Emma floated in the water, her ponytail clinging to her neck, her dress weighing her down, yet she remained silent, swimming determinately toward a buoy 50 yards away, her strokes powerful, her hazel eyes filled with determination. The shimmering lights of the ether sparkled overhead as the celebration continued, guests twirling in dance, crew sharing laughter, oblivious to the vast sea beyond. She grasped the buoy, its slick surface cold against her fingers, her breath misting in the chill of the evening air. Tom slipped away, her fingers wrinkled, her body trembled, yet she remained calm. She had encountered greater challenges, and this situation was not about her ego. It centered on Adrian, on the existence they had crafted, on each spirit assessed by their exterior. The night enveloped Monaco, the marina's radiance dimming into a soft, distant murmur. Emma clung to the moment, her dress drenched, her teeth chattering until a beam from a lantern sliced through the darkness. An aged vessel, old Nico steering with a furrowed brow, his weathered visage etched with worry. Hey, are you all right? He shouted, throwing a rope. She caught it, hauling herself up, shaking yet composed. Not really, she replied, her voice unwavering in the chill. He gently laid a wool blanket over her. What happened? She recounted to him, her voice steady, devoid of tears, detailing the tickets, the shove, the laughter. Nico's jaw clenched. Creatures. Do you have someone special in your life? She nodded, retrieving her drenched phone from her pocket. Deceased. My spouse, she stated. He'll come. Nico passed her his worn Nokia. Use it, she said as she dialed Adrian. It's me. I'm okay. Sort of, he said, his voice taking on an edge. Where are you? She conveyed it to him. A fisherman's vessel. They cast me away from the ether. Silence enveloped the moment. I'll be there in 3 hours. The tranquility of morning was abruptly disrupted. A sleek black helicopter thundered above the marina, its blades cutting through the air, descending onto a pad close to the dock as a frenzy of international press gathered, cameras flickering, microphones reaching out, reporters clamoring for attention. Adrian Storm emerged, standing tall at 38, his dark hair impeccably styled, clad in a sharp gray suit, with blue eyes that glinted like cold steel. Behind him, Emma stood tall, her damp dress clinging to her, flip-flops lost, hair chaotic tangle, yet unshaken. He grasped her hand, his hold steady, her resilience subtle. The media hummed with excitement. Who is she? The CEO of Stormtech. What is this? Adrian remained expressionless as he guided her to the ether's gangway where the crew stood still, their faces paling in shock. Tom stared in astonishment. Sir? Clara hurried forward, her blazer immaculate. Mr. Storm, glad to have you with us. Adrian interrupted her, his voice low and dangerous. This woman is more than my wife, she was instrumental in building Stormtech from the ground up. She's the true mastermind behind all that I possess. And just yesterday you attempted to take her life. The atmosphere grew thick with tension. Jake let his mop fall, Sophie's tray crashed to the ground, Pete's rope fell from his grasp, Lila's glass shook, and Miles turned ashen. Adrian's eyes scanned the group. We began with nothing. 2 kids in a dorm, broke and restless. I developed the hardware. She deciphered the AI. Every system you engage with, every dollar I've earned, her intellect is woven into it. And you, he gestured toward Tom, Clara, Jake, Sophie, Pete, casting her into the sea. Here comes the first twist that crashed in like a tidal wave. Emma was more than merely his wife. She established Storm Child Relief, a worldwide beacon of hope for orphan children. Before Storm Tech soared, she had drawn it on napkins, schools, shelters, clinics, then invested billions into it, all in the shadows while the world pursued fleeting trends. The ether, a manifestation of her imagination, its insides, its protective measures, each bolt and beam belonging to her vision. Tom's badge, Clara's heels, Jake's mop, Sophie's tray, Pete's polo. Compensated for her efforts. They had ridiculed the woman who had created their reality. And then the second twist struck with force. That evening's gathering transcended a mere billionaire celebration. A clandestine gathering focused on a $500 million aid initiative. Emma's aspiration to inundate orphanages with support. She had crafted the rotating charity auctions, Monaco tonight, Dubai next, every detail meticulously planned. The attendees, wealthy magnates, corporate leaders, benefactors gathered to cast their votes. Oblivious, she had extended the invitation to them. Unaware, she had crafted the yacht beneath their feet. They had chuckled at the lady who summoned them. Adrian guided her on board, weaving through the astonished crew, ascending the spiral staircase to the main deck. The throng made way. Silk gowns whispering, tuxedos rigid, gazes expansive. Emma approached the microphone. Still wet, without any makeup or adornments. Simply her dress and a damp piece of paper from her pocket. She raised it high. True elegance lies not in your attire, but in your generosity. The atmosphere became still. A lady adorned in jewels. Ellen let out a soft sniffle. A gentleman adorned in a bow tie. Charles brushed away the tears from his eyes. Guests stood, their applause beginning softly before swelling into a resounding wave, a surge of admiration enveloping the deck. Tom's hands trembled. Clara's smirk vanished. Jake's gaze was fixed on the ground beneath him. Sophie's bun drooped. Pete's sunburn deepened. Lila's sequins lost their sparkle. Miles' watch ceased its flashing. Adrian stood beside her, quiet, his pride an unyielding stronghold. He faced the crew, his voice sharp and cutting. You stay put. One acquires knowledge. Today, Tom's badge had become a mere jest, his shove a binding force. He had shoved aside the woman whose perspective kept a roof over his head, and perspiration dripped as he carried chairs for her children, his ego sinking in the warmth of their grins. Clara's blazer draped listlessly, her marker resembling a noose. She had marred the mine that supported their livelihoods, her heels echoing aimlessly as she piled tables beneath Emma's watchful eyes. Jake's mop reflected his essence, each splash leaving a mark. He had immersed himself in the creator of their universe. His hands chafed from cleansing her surface. Sophie's tray quivered, the oysters heavy upon it. She had nourished the depths of their finances with grime, her hair coming undone as she attended to her duties. Pete's rope wound securely, his foam an apparition. He had coated the bottom of their vessel, his sunburn deepening with embarrassment. Lila's pearls had vanished, her brilliance a smoldering ember. She had illuminated the woman who brightened their existence. Her sequins muted as the audience's applause drowned them out. Emma's subtle victory a verdict they could not escape. Tom hesitated, we did not. Adrian lifted a hand, and so did you. Now you navigate her deck, her way. By noon, Tom carried chairs for a children's event below deck, his badge replaced with a volunteer tag, sweat soaking his polo, his push a mere whisper. Clara arranged the tables, swapping her heels for flats, her vibrant red lips now muted, her toss a distant recollection. Jake scrubbed the floors, his mop a harsh reminder of the toil, hands sore from the labor he had once ridiculed. Sophie served water to the staff, her tray now empty, each splash carrying a sense of gravity. Pete coiled ropes, his polo marked with stains, his struggle a valuable lesson. Lila poured coffee, her elegant gown replaced by a practical smock, her flute now a distant memory. Emma strolled by, serene. It's not centered on you. It's focused on them. Nodding at the children's photos adorning the walls, orphans her fund would support. They remained silent, simply focused on their tasks. Gaze lowered, Embarrassment weighs like an anchor. 2 weeks later, the ether continued its journey, its decks more subdued, its atmosphere more modest. Tom approached the dock worker in sandals with an air of regal confidence. "Welcome aboard. How can I assist you today?" His voice carried a gentle quality, while the shove lingered as a wound he had revisited countless nights. Clara gave a timid smile to a visitor dressed in cargo shorts. "Is there anything you require, sir?" With her blazer neatly tucked away, the disdain she carried was a lesson forged in the experience of stacking tables alongside children indifferent to her stylish heels. Jake guided a young volunteer. "Respect is invaluable. Share it generously." His days of mopping are a humbling memory, his hands now steady. Sophie replenished the water for the team meeting. "Here you go," her splash, a memory she had expressed regret for. With tears glistening in her eyes, she nodded in response. Pete intertwined ropes with the son of a fisherman. Like this, he drags a weight he'd shed while hauling supplies. Lila contributed her pearls to the upcoming auction. For the children, her voice gentle, her flute a decision she had reversed. The summit garnered $600 million, a testament to Emma's fund and her remarkable achievement. A sensational video featuring a billionaire's wife being ejected from her own yacht has rapidly amassed 20 million views within days, reflecting their embarrassment on a worldwide scale. Letters arrived from those who had jeered. Ellen's tears left their mark. Charles's note was succinct. "We were mistaken." The crew donned volunteer tags at each port, their hands occupied, their gazes cast downward. Emma leaned against the rail under the stars, Adrian's arm wrapped around her, the vast sea unfolding endlessly before them. "Was it worth it?" he inquired, his voice barely above a whisper. She always nodded. Her dress danced in the breeze, her strength radiated, and the yacht sang softly. Hers, from bow to stern, a reflection of all she had sacrificed. This tale delves into the depths beyond the surface shine. A tale of a woman who transformed harshness into a moment of awakening. If this resonated with you, give it a thumbs up, spread the word, and leave your thoughts below. Have you ever faced scrutiny based on your appearance? Share your story and join us for more narratives that resonate profoundly and elevate your spirit.